Hello Bad Company, and welcome to a video going over patch or update 22, because it launched yesterday and there's a whole bunch of stuff for me to try and talk about at least. I will be trying to also have this all in different segments, so hopefully I'll leave some timestamps in the description so you can see each of the different kind of points I'll be going over, because there's a fair few big things that have changed with this update. The very first thing I want to talk about is probably the biggest change to the game, Wasteland. Now, I've spoken about this in the past, you've likely heard bits and pieces around it here, so I'm going to keep things fairly simple. What this basically means is that enemies now scale to your own level. So, lower level players are going to be encountering lower level enemies. Higher level players encounter those same exact enemies as a high level variant. So, for example, run into I forgot the name of them, super mutant. Run into a super mutant when you're like level 10 and it's in the forest, and yeah, that mutant's going to be like level 5 or level 10 or, you know, pretty low level. If you're a high level and run into that super mutant, it might max out at about level 50, because creatures do have minimum and maximum levels, which apparently are somewhat linked to the regions they're in as well. So even if you're level 500 and you're venturing around the forest, you're not suddenly going to run across enemies at level 500, but you're probably going to see nothing above level 50. Go to the Cranberry Bog, however, you might encounter like level 100 plus enemies, but they're still going to have a maximum level. The people have glitched themselves up to like level 1000 or whatever. They're not going to suddenly encounter level 1000 red roaches. That's just not going to be the case. What this means is that enemies are going to be harder to kill at higher levels just because they're higher level themselves, but it's not a huge difference if you've got your build sorted out. It will make the early game a bit easier for exploring and going to different locations, and then later in the game it's a tiny bit more of a challenge from that. That's the basics of it. However, it does also mean the experience you're getting is more suited to your own level. So higher leveling at higher levels should be good for the dailies and for repeatable XP challenge. All of that stuff seems to be a decent change overall. I'm not hearing too much backlash on it just yet, but that's what this video is for. Next is Season 2 of the Fallout 76 Battle Pass thingy, which is Armor Ace and the Power Patrol, which is live now. There's 100 ranks just like last time, and it ends in 10 weeks apparently, so late November, I'm guessing? That seems to be when it's going to end. We don't have a specific date, we're just told 10 weeks, so towards the end of November should be when it ends. Now, you can purchase rank ups immediately. It's 150 atoms to go up 1 rank. Do not do this at this earlier stage. If you reach rank 90 and you're like, yeah, I don't fancy just grinding it out, let's just buy the other 10, that's fine. But the earlier the rank, the faster and easier it is to rank up, and the later ranks take more score to rank up, therefore are harder. So the longer you hold out on purchasing rank ups, the more efficient they effectively are. It's also 150 atoms, which is a decent price. If you wanted to buy all 100 ranks, yeah, that's more atoms than most people are going to have just on them, which means you're paying money for it. So I'd recommend just leveling up naturally, treat it as an additional thing. Now, some of the previous rewards from the score season that ended a couple of weeks ago are now sold by gold vendors. The only things I really noticed were lunchboxes being sold by Mortimer? Is it Mortimer they called? The robot creator. I can't remember his name, and Samuel, who are the gold vendors for the Raiders and the Settlers. Apologies for my voice, is getting better. Yeah, you can buy lunchboxes from them. They're 100 gold a piece, or 100 gold to buy them, and that's kind of nice. Having a repeatable thing to buy with the gold, I'm actually happy to see, and I'm very glad it's also not been a paid content thing that they're bought with atoms, which I heard lots of people getting worried about. Additionally, something I didn't actually put in my notes, but Regs, the gold vault bullion seller, well, that didn't make much sense, he'll be on screen. He's selling upgrades to the Warglaive, which is a new weapon, which I'm not actually sure how you get yet. So feel free to leave in the comments below how you get the Warglaive. It might be from the season? I swear I heard it once before and I just didn't bother with it because I'm not melee on my main. But yeah, there's upgrades to the Warglaive there, which is nice as well. Now additionally, they're adding in some more weekly challenges. On the challenge screen, it appears you get 10 weeklies now, and hopefully that's going to be what they stick with, because before I fell ill, I was actually planning on making a video complaining about how seasons kind of force you to log in every day if you want to get the good rewards. But with more weekly challenges, it's a bit more flexible, means that average people can miss a day here and there, and it's not going to screw you over too badly. It's just good to have more weekly challenges and less of a focus on the daily. And there's also a few new challenges to reflect some new stuff you can do in-game, including, it looks like, from the PTS and from this, I have a feeling we'll get a daily challenge almost every single day to complete a daily ops mission. Daily ops are described as instanced, randomized, and repeatable encounters. And essentially these are something you can activate by going into the map. You'll see on the bottom left there's, daily ops. You just join them, you get a whole bunch of information then. So the daily ops that we're all going to be doing for a while, because we've only got one game mode so far as I know, is uplink, which requires you to go to a couple of locations, turn on these uplinks, stay in the area to power them up, then once they're done, kill a bunch of enemies, including a boss enemy. You'll see all of that in the footage, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, and if you've seen PTS stuff, you'll have seen it there as well. It's kind of cool. There's a few different locations you can go to. The locations listed are the Burrows, Burning Mine, Valley Galleria, and Vault 94. So there's 4 different locations, bit of variety there, and there's enemy factions you face, these being super mutants, blood eagles, or robots. I had robots in this one, which is, kind of annoying, because I feel like robots are the worst to be dealing with, to be honest. But yeah, there's a few different enemy types, 4 different locations, means there's a bit of variety to it. Now the big thing, which really gives variety, is the enemy mutations. These are buffs which the enemies have when you go on to this instanced event. Now, for the uplink daily ops mode, which is the only one available to us right now, the piercing gaze mutation is always applied to enemies, giving them greatly enhanced perception for players, which means you basically can't stealth it. Like, getting any stealth in the daily ops right now is really difficult, so if you're a stealth build, you're going to struggle a bit. There's also Volatile, Active Camouflage, and Freezing Touch, which are enemies explode on death, enemies will be cloaked when not attacking, and enemy attacks will freeze players respectively, which are pretty powerful and interesting buffs. And the one you'll be seeing in the footage, which is arguably the one which I think most people struggle with, is Resilient. Enemies can only be killed with a melee attack. Now if you're a melee build, this is no issue whatsoever. If you're a gun build, save yourself some action points and gun bash. You'll see in the footage that's what I'm doing all the time. It is just how to get through it is gun bashing, because weapon swapping is a bit slow on this game, unfortunately. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, enemies that you do kill within daily ops will drop the ammo type of the weapon you kill them with. So I've already had a few people on my Discord mention that they've actually gained more ammo than they spent during a daily ops, which is pretty cool. And I myself find that I'm evening out, I get about as much ammo back as I spend, which is pretty good. Although most of the daily ops I've done on my own or with one other person joining. The one you'll be seeing footage of was myself and one other person kind of from the start. I wasn't communicating with them because I had to save my voice for this. And then a couple of other people, including Hunter, hi Hunter, joined right at the end. Hunter, in fact, makes a cameo right at the very end after I gun bash the boss to death. So, the bosses as well I want to mention are really cool. They're like unique variants of the enemies, and they have like powerful attacks and they're very strong. They're like an actual boss enemy. Well, they're like a mini boss. I really like that. The daily ops, if you can't tell, are good and you should try them. Even if you're not like incredibly good at the game and don't have a top tier build or anything, see if you can get a group together. Feel free to ask my Discord. There's a looking for group channel in the Fallout 76 channel part of my Discord, feel free to see if you can get a group together when I'm feeling better and can have more lung capacity. I'll be doing it more often, hopefully, as well. Because you're constantly going to be fighting enemies during the daily ops, the condition of weapons and armour are only taking like 50% condition damage while in the daily ops, which means less chance of your armour just breaking and your weapons breaking during it, although I still had a piece of armour break, so don't just go completely complacent on that. Now, daily ops, as well as just being a mission to complete, there is a time limit element of them. You won't fail. There's no, like, failure if you just don't get it done within, like, the time. So you can take, like, an hour, essentially, to get it done, and you'll still get some rewards. However, there are 3 additional reward tiers that you can reach only once per day by completing daily ops within certain time limits. So Initiate is 60 minutes or less. I got this with myself and another person, neither of us, like, really doing amazing. I feel bad saying this. I want to say I was doing a bit better just because the other person kept getting, like, busted by a group of robots, and I had to pick them back up quite a few times. They really did not have much luck in a couple of places, and we still got it at 16 minutes or less, so it's not too difficult to get that first one. Paladin tier, 12 minutes or less. You got like one other person, both of you good builds, shouldn't be an issue. I think in my total one we were 12 minutes and 41 seconds in this, and we weren't by any means optimised for it, so shouldn't be too difficult. Elder tier of 8 minutes or less is quite difficult, not so much because, oh, you need to be a powerful build, but because the uplink boosters which you go to are powered up 1, 2, 3 or 4 times speed depending on how many people are by there. So if you've got a full team of 4 people and all of you go to the daily ops, which you just activate in the menu and it's your own instance place for your team, if you all go there and work together and communicate, Elder tier shouldn't be that difficult. Even if you're not like the greatest players, just teaming up and all going to the uplink straight away, 8 minutes or less, more than doable. On your own, with the best build in the world, still going to be tricky at times simply because you're having to navigate around the map, which could get lost in, and you're having to just wait for the uplink to tick up. So the time limit does benefit teams who communicate far more than just being a pure, oh, if you've got the good build, you'll just get the best rewards. Now, there's supposed to be some unique rewards, and brand new items like the Warglaive. It literally says it in the notes. That's where I read it. Yeah, you get the Warglaive as a new item. You'll get some legendary items. I got like a bloodied pistol just by completing an initiate tier, which is just like a standard thing to get. You get treasury notes, you get some XP and stuff from doing it. It's all pretty good. I highly recommend giving daily ops a try. It's going to be the main thing I probably do when I log into Fallout 76 these days. Each day when I go to do some dailies, I'll be doing the daily ops. Now, time to talk about legendary perks, because if you've reached level 50 or higher, which I imagine like 99% of the audience watching probably has, then you'll have access to legendary perk cards, which you go into your perk card screen, and then right at the top it says legendary perk cards, go up to that and select it, and boom, you have between 0 and 6 slots. If you've got a character at less than, or if none of your characters are level 50, you will not have any legendary perk card slots. If you've got a character at level 300, all 6 slots will be unlocked for all your characters. Now, each slot unlocks at a different level, so level 50 is the first one, 75 for the second, 100, 150, 200, 300. If you own one character at level 300 or above, all 6 legendary perk slots will be unlocked for all of your characters. And then it's just a case of slotting in the legendary perk cards. These have changed a few times from the PTS, so do take a proper look at them. However, they're all going to be somewhat beneficial for you to have, and I'd argue there's no like bad choice. These are literally just buffs to your characters, which are pretty good, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So you can just buff all of your characters by slotting in different legendary perk cards for them. There's some nice ones for power armor. I'm looking forward to Powerhouse Pete just being buffed in general. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. You can also boost your specials up to a maximum of 15 through the legendary perk card system, because there's there's essentially just intense training from the previous games that have been added in with this. It's good, go test them out. I haven't had proper testing with all of them, so I'm sure there'll be people in the comments going, oh, this one's great and this one's terrible or whatever, but I just say, test them out. Now we need to talk about ranking up the perk cards and switching them out. Once you've equipped a legendary perk card, if you want to switch it out, it's going to cost you 1 legendary perk point, or perk coin, as they call them. Now, once you reach level 50, or if you have a character already at level 50, you will get 50 perk coins, kind of just to start you off. If you want to get more perk coins, you can do this by scrapping perk cards. A perk card at rank 1 will give you 2 perk coins, and a perk card at rank 3 will give you 6 perk coins, so essentially for each rank of a standard perk card, you scrap it, you get 2 perk coins. Now, you can also upgrade legendary perk cards, so this isn't just a system for swapping them out, and they can be upgraded up to 3 times, at a price of 50, then 100, then 150 perk coins to reach ranks 2, 3 and 4 respectively. So in total, if you want to max out a legendary perk card, it's going to cost you 300 perk coins, which is going to be 150 standard perk cards scrapped if you ignore the 50 you get as standard. So yeah, it's kind of expensive and is very much, if you're a high level player, hey, you're going to be able to max this out. It's also going to take a long time just sorting through your perk cards and scrapping them all. Like, I have a ton of level up spare, and I guess I'm just going to have to go and purchase a bunch of perk cards and then scrap them instantly if I want to rank these up, which is going to be a very slow process, but that is essentially how it works. Feel free to leave questions in the comments, I'm sure people will explain it in a different way if what I said didn't help there. On to the penultimate section now, where we're talking about buffs and nerfs. Now technically, I've already talked about this with how one Wasteland changes things and legendary perks change things. Those are going to change the way your characters feel in terms of damage, but if you saw a video I made a while back, this is the patch which is rolling out the huge damage nerf, which is explained in the combat bonus damage section. We've changed the way that damage bonuses are calculated so they are now so that they now apply additively instead of multiplicatively. Bonuses are plus symbols rather than multiply symbols, is the simple speak for that, which I can actually pronounce right now. Now, if you didn't see my video which has like comparisons between pre this patch and post this patch, essentially pretty much everything's dealing less damage. Like, you're going to see yourself dealing less damage no matter what you're using. Energy weapons were hit the hardest. I don't know if that's still the case, I haven't been able to check that, but it looks like it is from just the brief time I've played. And bloody builds are significantly weaker now, but they're still probably the best build overall, so bloody players, don't worry too much, you just have to fire a few shots into an enemy to kill them rather than one. It shouldn't be too game breaking, but everyone is going to be dealing less damage. Hopefully these changes are going to mean better balancing in the future, but I'm really not holding out hope on that, to be honest. Now, as I said, One Wasteland is also going to make everything feel more challenging for established players, so if you have got a very high level, high tier build, and we're used to just god destroying everything, it's going to be a tiny bit more of a challenge, but you still shouldn't find the game that difficult overall. Now, a couple of buffs we can talk about. The Alien Blaster now does 30% more damage, and still isn't a great gun, to be honest, especially with the energy weapon nerf that has come about from the just general nerf, which is annoying. You'll see the version I had without any perks was like 32 damage a shot or something. Like, it's still not going to be a great gun for a while, but it is nice to see them giving it quite a big damage boost. They've kind of gone for this theme as well with a couple of pistol buffs, because the Tank Killer perk card in Perception now affects pistols as well, so not just rifles, it's also pistols, so Tank Killer is an amazing perk. It already was a great perk card, because I feel like the majority of builds are probably either Rifleman or Commando, and yeah, it was already great. Now it affects pistols as well, which is good, because I want pistols to get buffed, And also the Modern Renegade perk card seems to be about 2 to 3 times better when it comes to the crippling damage, because it was previously 2%, 3% or 4% chance to cripple limbs from Modern Renegade, and it's now 4%, 8%, 12% chance to cripple limbs. Tie in like the stagger and stuff with tank killer, and your pistols should actually feel like they're more powerful, plus the hip fire percentage improvement from Modern Renegade is shown on the card, which is very, very nice to see. And that's it for buffs and nerfs. It's a bit of a small section. I'm hoping there's going to be like more buffs to weaker builds. And if you, I forgot one thing. There's one final thing which I've been asking for ages, and they've finally done. The Assassin's Legendary effect now applies to humans as well as players. Oh, that's a good one. I waited so long for that and complained about it so much, and they've finally done it. Like, it's the smallest change. I don't even know where it is in the patch notes because it's a one-line thing. But yes, they've done that. They've changed it. Good. Needs to be the case. Now, final section, general changes. First part is another big one which people have been asking for a fair amount. Free fast travel to Foundation and Crater. You can fast travel to both of those for free. That is good. I think it's going to make things just a lot smoother for players, as they're locations we go to every day. Also makes it a bit easier to get to other surrounding locations a bit cheaper, if you're willing to go through an additional load screen. Public teams have had a couple of changes. The building team is no longer called building, it's now called casual, but does the same thing of boosting intelligence, which thereby gets you a good XP gain. And because the casual team has been removed and casual, the word, has been renamed to the building one, confusing, there's now a new daily ops team. So if you want to be doing those daily ops, jump in this team, you'll get bonus experience during the daily ops, and it will also let people know that you plan on completing a daily operation, which should be better for getting you teammates, even if like your friends aren't online or you don't have anyone you regularly game with. So that is good to see. Vault 94 is now free to explore in adventure mode. I ran in there. It's not an instance location, it seems like, because almost everything was already dead. I found a single level 100 Mirelurk to fight, and everything else had just been slaughtered by someone else who clearly just came through before me. So, yep, you can now access Vault 94 and just wander about in it, pick up some of the lore or whatever. Kind of cool. Vault 51 is not currently accessible, but they've added a new no-camp zone around the exterior, so I'm guessing we'll be able to go into that soon. That is the Nuclear Winter Vault, so chances are it's just going to be, oh, you can go in and see the holotapes without going into Nuclear Winter. Could mean they're deleting Nuclear Winter entirely, could mean they're integrating it more into Adventure Mode, who knows. All we know is you can't place your camp around it right now. And it's also not a location on the map, you don't get a map marker for discovering it, which is what I wanted, which is a shame. Now, the Vault Tech Duffel Bag, which was a loot bag which I think you got for free a couple of months ago, now is easier to loot. Used to be a case of you had to look exactly and directly at the zip of it. Now it works more like a standard loot bag, which is just good. The Scorched Beast Queen can be crippled again, which is so nice. Cripple her legs and her ground movement speed is going to be a bit slower. Cripple her wings and she's going to land. This is going to make players who are not using magic or glitched weapons have a far easier time with Scorched Beast Queen. Good to see. Something I noticed, which affects me more than most players, is that all legendary fixers are now called the Fixer. Which is, yeah, interesting. I logged in and in my inventory had 4 copies of the Fixer, and they were all different legendary effects. So that's just a visual bug. The legendary effects are still there, but that I found amusing. And finally, various general bug and exploit fixes. There will be the patch notes linked in the description. A lot of the stuff is like atom shop things, which I don't want to talk about. There's so many different things on here, and none of them I was like, oh, I definitely need to talk about that, but definitely worth having a look through. With these as well, I'm never sure which ones actually have been implemented and haven't been broken when they get launched, and which ones haven't been noticed, because patches always break things in this game, so feel free to leave a comment telling me what got broken that I don't know about, and shout at me for not mentioning this one obscure thing which wasn't about when I recorded this. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Apologies it's a bit longer, but as you can tell, my voice is kind of getting better, so another week or two and we'll be back to regular content and stuff. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell, go watch my most recent video where I talk about what Fallout 76 can learn from the Bioshock franchise, put a lot of work into that and sound even worse than I do right now, so give it some love. Hit the like button, share, you know how YouTube works. Every YouTuber tells you to do this stuff, come on. I don't need to tell you what your homework is, just go and do it, have fun in 76. And, as always, thank you for watching. Sarge out.